Yesterday wasn't great. So I was very happy with these tips, and the Poisson Model got these also. In the end, England won 1-0. So this bet lost since we didn't have overs, and this bet lost since they only won by a goal. I had also said that England would win 2-0, so I won that one. The score was 1-0, so that was a loss. Harry Kane did score, so that was a win. So basically, if you were betting 1 unit on these and half on these or less, since they were, higher odds, not as much sure things, that meant these kind of cancelled. The website, so freesupertips, was down 2 units. I was down 1 unit because England to win 2-0 was W money. Scotland, Slovenia was also a loss. So I think it was something like 2-2 win for the website. So that's 1 unit win, and I'd say 1 unit win because it will be a half bet since it's only 1 star, but you got double your money, so you would have made the same as you lost on this bet. So break even for the website, I was actually down 1 unit since I lost this bet, but I'd actually put a draw and under 2.5 goals bet when I actually made the bet. So it was a draw. Website did better in the Scotland match. I did better in the England match. But we all lost. So not a winning day. Now on to today and predicting. So I'm just going to look at the Ireland game and the Serbia-Georgia game. So they're in the same group as Ireland. Again, getting the data from Soccer Stats. The links are in the description below the video. We can get the parameters and put them into the Poisson model. So I've added the home team to win and both away team to win and both home team to win over those fields, which I kept mentioning but didn't get around to doing it before. Home and over seems okay, but there's no real standout bet here. We expect the home team to win. The score being 2-1. So what I did was I bet on the score being 2-1 and 2-0. So if either of those happens, that's good. I've also bet on the home team to win by 2 goals and the home team to win by 2 or more. So the home team to win by more than 1 goal and the home team to win by more than 2 goals. Half bets on those, though. Because that I didn't get from the Poisson model. So I don't know whether that's a legitimate bet in that respect. But basically, Serbia beat Georgia in Georgia 2-1. So I think that they can win by more at home. But it's not a very strong bet. I mean, I'd be confident that Serbia will win, because Georgia have tended to score and Serbia's defense isn't great. So there's no really good team in this group. So that makes it kind of messier. What did they say? So they have both teams to score and Georgia +2 Asian handicap. Now that kind of makes sense, and they give the reasons, because Georgia have tended to score and they haven't lost by much. So far in the season, yeah, you know, when they went away to Ireland, I think they lost maybe by a goal, and when they went away to Wales, etc. So if you'd made this bet on all the games in this group, I don't think Georgia have lost by more than 2 goals in any of them, in which case you're covered. So if you wouldn't have lost, and for some of them you would have won. And I don't think Serbia are that great that their firepower, you know, that I expect them to win by loads. And in fact, the Poisson Model expects the score to be 2-1. So for Serbia not to win by more than a goal. I suppose I was swayed by the fact that Serbia beat Georgia 2-1 earlier when they were in Georgia. So I expect them to do better at home than away. It's not, there's no real clear signal, but when I push came to shove in the end, I kind of went, I just felt that would be more what I think is going to happen. So but they're small bets. There's no real conviction on this. I'm mainly looking for the score to be either 2-0 or 2-1. If it's either of those two, I win nicely. The handicap one is, it might win, it might not. We'll see. So the primary bet for me in the Serbia-Georgia is that Serbia are going to win 2-0, and Serbia are going to win 2-1. So either of those, I win. The website is going for both teams to score, which there is data behind that Serbia's defense isn't great and Georgia do tend to score. And Georgia +2, so far in this group, Georgia haven't been beaten convincingly. So it's unlikely you're going to lose this bet, and you might win. So there's good logic there, and I think it's going to be 2-1 as well. Then there's the Ireland game. There it is. This is trickier for me because, of course, I want Ireland to win. So can I look at this, you know, in a detached manner? Historically, no. So they think both teams are going to score, and it's going to be a draw, and the score is going to be 1-1. I think these are the parameters. I'll just check. Think so. So low scoring game, less than 3 goals, 85%. Anything else? The score's probably 1-1. It might be 1-0 to the home team. I can't say. So it doesn't look like Wales are going to lose. Most likely it's going to be a draw. It could be Wales to win. Now, this is very complex because Gareth Bale is injured, and the data that the Poisson model is using is based on a history where Gareth Bale was playing most of the time. So Wales are going to be considerably weaker than this data says. Though likewise, Coleman is injured, Ireland's captain, so Ireland are also weaker than the data suggests. So it's very noisy. It's very hard for the Poisson model to work. I mean, garbage in, garbage out. I mean, the scores, the averages that I'm using here don't fit the teams that are playing. I also looked up somewhere, like, the average age for the Welsh team is kind of youngish. They're more kind of 26, while I think 27 is more the peakish, while the Irish team is more an age of nearly 29. So it is an older, aging team. Though, is that better in a high pressure game because the Irish team has more experience going around in loops? So what does the website is going for that both teams are going to score, while Poisson is saying I don't think so. I mean, it's rare that only 20% of the time, like 1 in 4 or 1 in 5 times, we're going to get both teams to score. So Poisson is saying no, don't go for backing both teams to score. But it gets even more complicated, because this looks so familiar to the Scotland match yesterday, where I think I probably went through the same process, where I felt that it was going to be less than 3 goals as opposed to both teams to score. And here as well, it has less than 3 goals, 85%. I think yesterday the Slovenia have a really good home record, and in more than 80% or 80% of games it's less than 3 goals. But the score was 2-2, so it was more than 3 goals. So on the one hand, the Poisson model is clearly telling me that we expect both teams, it's not going to be both teams to score, and we expect it's going to be less than 3 goals. But we know we can't believe it since Bale's not playing and Coleman's not playing, and it's the critical last game. So it purely depends on what you feel. I mean, what is the correct interpretation? Now, yesterday the draw was the correct call, so in that respect probably a good bet is to go for a draw. Like, if I'm looking at the Slovenia-Scotland match for inspiration, yes, I think draw is the call. Can I predict less than 3 goals in both teams to score? Well, that's exactly what we got, or what I said for the Scotland match, while it ended up being 2-2. So I think, using that logic, the market has priced in the fact that it's very unlikely that both teams are going to score. But since it's the critical match, that's probably not going to be the case. So I think there's probably very good value in betting on 3 or more goals, or both teams to score, since I think the market has mispriced that. So this isn't using the Poisson model to just looking at the output from the Poisson model. The Poisson model is saying that it's going to be not no for both teams to score, and it's going to be less than 3 goals. But that's not what I'm going to do. There's a lot of uncertainty here. But I'm going to go for either both teams to score or 3 or more goals. And any other bet? Will I try and guess the score? No, because I think if you looked at the Scotland-Slovenia match, it ended up being 2-2, even though we probably thought it was going to be 1-0 or 1-1. So my call for the Ireland-Wales match is going to be 3 or more goals. And draw. They went for both teams to score and draw. So actually both teams to score kind of makes sense as well. So I'm doing the reverse logic. So again, in the Scotland match, draw worked. The Poisson model is saying it's not going to be both teams to score, but I'm going to say what matters here is that this is the last game. It's going to be a messy fight. And the market has assumed that it's not going to be both teams to score, so you're able to get highly rewarded for backing the other thing. So basically I haven't a clue. Where we want stakes to be kind of half stakes. Also this is flagged because it is an Ireland match, so I'm gonna have more emotional noise. I won't be able to just look at this game, cleanly. So that's my tip for the match, that draw. And I'll look at what the odds are. Yeah, overs is very attractive. It's 2.78. So I'm backing draw and overs. Fingers crossed.